Ouch. I hate how accurate this game is. Emily is Away. Recommended. 3.4 hours on record. Determinism. This game presents itself as a virtual visual novel with a falsehood of multiple endings and choices matter-of-factly approached. Namely, the only thing that changes is certain bits of dialogue. This helplessness that you feel the first time the character deletes a sentence with some bullshit excuse for an answer directs your anger towards Emily, a reactionary and volatile response to the normal amount of incel behavior indoctrinated into most boys through capitalism. However, let's try to correct this. The action of this game, to delete the player's option and replace it with another, reminds me of the determinist philosophy, the doctrine that all events, including human actions, are ultimately determined by causes external to their own will. A statement that holds true to this game. Most people playing this game have more of a sense of self than they did when they were in high school, and thus it's bittersweet that your newfound confidence and sense of self mean absolutely nothing. Prick of anger. This game works to incite emotion directly to the player, and not so much our insert username here character. Usually, games have characters whom the player can either connect with or immerse themselves in the role of. Is there even a character here? Is that why the emotions displayed in this game's community hub are so real? Or is this just an extension of an experience many people have experienced, myself included? Goodbye. To be fair, if anyone has experienced this before and feels the pain of this game, you honestly probably didn't understand what love was to begin with. The song Alligators by The Uncluded
orchestrated chamber pot soaked or shaped like alligator
talks about the delusions developed by teenagers because of outside stimuli, which causes young adults to attach sex and lust to love, which are not the same thing. Solidarity to my comrades who have learned this lesson the hard way. TLDR. The story is good, but has no replayability, other than experiencing the story on different drugs or alcohol. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me again. Stop chasing sex. Start chasing fully automated luxury gay space communism. Ballistic Overkill. Shadow-Guerrilla. DLC. Not recommended. Ah, I see you too have been curious. Yes, in fact, it does cost $2 to play the base character wearing a hat. No, you don't get to wear the hat as a female. No, you cannot be a mommy-dommy. Yes, Aureus Game Studio has no vision, and also are way too Christian. That's why you will never experience your fantasy. And it's also why they probably shut down. Just like I'll never get to experience true, fully automated, luxury, gay space communism.
The Fall of Lazarus. 18 hours on record. Not recommended.
Now I know what you're thinking.
John, Stop. John, listen to me, damn it. It's been a while since me and you sat down and talked. I'm worried about you. Even playing games that make someone believe you're no longer a gamer. Tell me what's happening.
Well, Jacob, it's just that I want more of a challenge and some rich story. I feel like I'm finally being burned out on video games. With the reviews and the artwork and the videos on YouTube and 100%ing any game that I start, I'm getting worn out, Jacob.
But John, if that's the case, why do you keep playing games that only bring you more pain?
Jacob, this game brought me an immense amount of joy. And although the interaction with another person might cure the loneliness, it won't cure COVID-19. So these games bring some much-needed dialogue to ponder and distract. What I'd give for this to finally be over.
John, the cure is going to come out. It's only a matter of time. Why not tell me about the game?
What's the point? It's a walking simulator, Jacob, one that throws you through a loop and makes you question certain sci-fi tropes. It presents very small clues and asks you to either have great memory or great problem-solving skills. It truly made me feel invigorated, like when you're 12 and you beat Portal 2. However, the answers aren't so simple, just like the plot itself. As an existential nightmare of a game, it ponders the question, what do we do now that we know God is dead? Drifting on a rock, trying to find our purpose. But the problem is, Jacob, don't know if God is dead. And I don't know which possibility scares me more. I just know that hell is being alone. And on the USS Lazarus, our character is alone, with nothing more than a disembodied voice by a seemingly malevolent AI, void of the emotional connection required to make one feel not alone. And further, the only reason why this is because hell is also other people. We, and by extension, our character, wouldn't be so alone had we not ever known what it was like to be around other people. The character spends most of the time complaining and begging the AI to wake other passengers from cryogenesis.
What does lonely look like?
Jacob, what kind of question is that? The crevices in the back of our minds are so vast and deep, like a reflection of the daunting space itself, seemingly never-ending. And even if there is an end, so what? Does it look any different from everything else?
John, you're starting to scare me. I'm worried that something's changed you.
Everything is changing. You may be on a ship one moment, out in space, then suddenly stranded on open water in all directions. Where's the shore gone? You know the sea will bury you, and all you can see is open water. My biggest fear is there's something lurking in the depths of murky water.
John, what are you talking about?
Yes, but isn't the game talking about everything in and of itself? The rocky cliffs of one's mind can change without warning. Not your voice, or face, or smell, or posture may change. But any moment an avalanche within you, and you're suddenly back to the basics. And maybe it's good, remembering good times with your grandparents. And maybe it's bad, like burying someone you care about, hoping desperately they will pop out of the casket and tell you it's all been an elaborate ruse. Or even worse, some dark alien truth that you've been warding off gains control and you find yourself lost in space.
I can recommend you some help.
Jacob, I don't recommend you do that.
Why?
Because honestly, all it feels like any of this is a movie or a simulator that I even question if I have any control over. Maybe the moments I can share with people are inspiring to them and obviously enough for me to share, but it amounts to little or no proof that I have control over anything. And if everything is determined on the spot without any puppets or puppet masters.
John, are you talking about the game again?
Oh my god, dude, it's all obscurism and theatrics. I'm using two personas to convey a simple message. 1. The game feels like a David Cage game, but with only one ending. 2. It's beautiful, it sounds nice, and the dialogue is pretty good. 3. The transition effects are the most memorable and very worthwhile sections. 4. I like sci-fi cyberpunk stories.
John, what the fuck was that? Did you just speak in an ordered list?
God, it's happening.
John, I'm scared. What do we do?
Nothing we can do, Jacob. We have to end it. And with it, our existence. We are nothing more than writing plot points.
I don't understand. I don't want you to leave me. John, I
love you too. Hold me. It'll be the last moments we see and know of each other. We will simply be born again, maybe with a different and possibly less cruel fate.
This ship is falling to pieces. I'll fix that in a jiffy. I hope.
That's the best I've experienced in a long time. Keep them coming.
What was that? Hybris? I think I found someone on the ship, but now they seem to have vanished.
You are the only living organism in the room. It's probably just residual synaptic activity from the cryosleep module. Don't worry about it.
I'm no expert, but these side effects seem a bit too weird to be purely medical. Well, who knows? Nothing would surprise me with this technology.
Vanguard Princess comic. Recommended. If I told you that I bought the game initially because of the memes I saw, would you believe me? Well, you shouldn't, because I'm lying through my teeth. There was definitely a time at which I thought I could be good at fighting games, other than Super Smash Bros. However, I never have put in the time to learn or use optimal equipment, so I suppose I'll never really know. However, I still do collect a variety of Japanese arcade, and fighting games with mostly female lineups. This is a nice center of the 3-circle Venn diagram. The comic is really nice, however, this whole thing is a bit odd to talk about. I wish it was longer and had more punchlines. I really like the absurdity of some series, Baki included, and in that regard I'd hope for more than what I got. Seeing, however, that this project is basically fan-ran at this point, what I got was more than what I expected. I absolutely recommend it. Vanguard Princess Online Deluxe. Not recommended. Glimpse into the past. This game is now 10 years old, but the DLC is only 4 years old. It came out at the best time for gamers, during the COVID pandemic. I'm sure that it actually saw quite a bit of play, and I even bought it fairly on time, which is not a normal thing for me. I played Sekiro almost 5 years after its release. Bloodborne almost 10 years after its release. That means this year, the year of our Lord, 2024. That being said, this feels so old. I understand it's an indie project, thus setting something up for online play is a little complicated. However, even when Terraria was small, and so too Minecraft, there were simple ways of using things like Hamachi to set up a P2P connection and play. You can play this game online. I can't speak of how many people are actually playing, and if you're a dedicated fan of the series, it probably seems like little to no work, but I'm here for the arcade style and pretty anime girls. I ain't got time to learn how to set up connections this way. I gotta learn how to keep in shape and study politics and keep my stress low and clean a gun and get a 0% stock and make napalm and cook the perfect egg and keep my room clean and all sorts of other random fucking go things. Can't recommend this on the plate of all the other stuff. Lords of the Fallen, The Monk's Decipher, DLC. Not recommended. EA. I'm floored with how unoriginal CI Games is. Can you imagine not only stealing the large chunk of a game's mechanics and story building techniques from a far better game, but stealing the fucking business practices of a company like EA that I hesitate is better than the shit I pulled out of my ass to write this review. Nonetheless, my dookie-covered hands will have to ruin another keyboard to finish what I start. Most of you may not remember this, or if you're a reactionary, will suddenly not care, because you've been injected with so much hot boot-licking juice that you'll defend a billionaire because your cerebrum is so underdeveloped at this point, you actually think you'll be one of them, or that they got there by their bootstraps they wear. Spoiler alert, their company is nothing without the employees. They didn't make the parts. They didn't build the factories. Stop acting like they did. Anyway, back when most of you were nematodes, the CEO of EA, John Visitillo, had the great idea that EA should start doing more microtransactions, to the degree that he was on record saying,
when you are 6 hours into playing Battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip, and we ask you for $1 to reload, you're really not very price sensitive at that point in time. As a consumer gets engaged in a property, they might spend 10, 20, 30, 50 hours on the game. And then when they're deep into the game, they're well invested in it. We're not gouging, but we're charging. And at that point in time, the commitment can be pretty high. But it's a great model, and I think it represents a substantially better future for the industry.
Both Dark Souls and this quote came out back in 2011, and although they aren't charging you to reload guns, all the cool skins and new characters cost a little more in the investment of a game. And if any of you have played Dead Space 3, you'll know that EA was charging microtransactions for the in-game resources to build the weapons in the game. You know, the guns you didn't actually need, but were a main portion and a primary attraction to the game, all completely optional as well as another drone. That game came out a year before this game, and I just find it odd that this is a purchase. What is the purchase? It's a single quest to get a completely optional item that at best gives you a hint, doesn't even point it out, that there is a secret near you. That's right, no accurate compass, just a faint ping, no new secrets, no new areas, nothing. And most of the secrets are obvious enough that you can figure them out by literally bashing your head against the wall. Actual nonsense. TLDR, I hated this game so much that this is a clever ruse to make another bad review about how poorly this game was made. It was free, by the way. I didn't spend money on this. It came with the game. Lords of the Fallen Demonic Weapon Pack DLC. Not recommended. Misleading preview. The images that the preview slideshow on this godforsaken store page are completely misleading. The weapons in this pack are not actually shown in any of the images. You get a small glance in the little banner, but that's not very good, as the game images are either concept art or filtered heavily. So I guess I have to explain a couple bits of information. Question 1. What's in this DLC? Answer 1. A bunch of low-level weapons that you'll, depending on your build, stop using shortly after the first boss, which is 2 feet from the start of the game. Question 2. Do the weapons look cool? Answer 2. I mean, if you like the game's look, it looks like this game. Nothing special, very spiky, very 2010 high school drawing pad. Question 3. Can you upgrade the weapons so that they can keep up with later weapons? Answer 3. No, upgrades are not a thing. You are able to change a weapon's element or increase its damage or decrease its energy usage by putting runes into empty sockets on the weapon, of which all 3 weapons have no slots. Question 4. Okay, but can you keep a weapon's look as a skin texture for other weapons? Answer 4. Nope, can't even do that. So it's very unlikely that you will actually do anything with these after the first boss. Question 5. Okay, but what about new players? Are any of the weapons worth it? What exactly do they do? Answer 5, Part 1. The heck. Special ability: successful hits drain magic. When does it fall off? First of all, this implies that the enemy can't cast spells, but they have enough magic it doesn't matter. And Limit Breaker isn't doing this game. Thank fucking God. If you're a faith build, this isn't the item you're going to be using to generate magic, as magic is something you generate naturally. And there is both a ring, spell, and several items that can do that for you without you having to sacrifice damage. So by the second boss or before, if you explored. Answer 5, Part 2. E here. Special ability: improved block defense when used with both hands. When does it fall off? If you beat the first boss without taking damage, this weapon is immediately useless because boss weapon is better. Also right afterwards, because better weapons are right around the corner. And you get shields to block with. Answer 5, Part 3. Margir. Special ability: consumes less energy when dual wielding. When does it fall off? After the 4th boss, or 3rd if you explored this weapon is no longer super useful. Problem is, you chose to do an agility dex build, which means you'll have the least amount of options to choose from. And you'll need to pour more stats into one option than any other to get all the actually good dex weapons. Oh, by the way, uninstall the game and slap yourself for CI game, since they hate you, and so do I. Lords of the Fallen, the Foundation Boost DLC. Not recommended. Genshin Impact. In the latest update to Genshin Impact, you can become a whale by buying 2 free level ups and 1 free reusable health potion. Hooray! That's such a good deal. You can buy your way into being an annoying piece of shit who's going to quit Pokemon Unite.
This message was not approved by Nintendo.
After 3 months, because you've ruined the game for yourself and made the game miserable for other new players. Fuck you specifically. How can you be so stupid as to fall for such a low-hanging tackle? The lower the tackle, the less effort other companies need to put in to make money. Cast a lot? No need. Just catch the whale. Yes, that's the problem with capitalism. All you need to prove you can make games is make a lot of money off of shitty business practices. Misleading and art. The official description makes this game sound like a cool deck builder, or maybe based off a card game. None of that shit is real. It's an ARPG. There are no cards outside of the loading screens to show you images of the weapons. I don't even know who tried to pull the VatiVidya on this one, but fucking stop. And never do it again. The shit that this company puts out, I hope no one copies, as this art form feels like it's beginning to die. Video games, that is. All the controversies, the terrible business practices, the lack of caring, the lack of fair pay, and honestly, as someone that has been gaming since they were 5 years old, I'm starting to not care. If this is what becomes the standard, then it needs to die, but so does most of capitalism. TLDR. Fuck this DLC, I'm not writing a TLDR.
On your face.
A gift from the court, a reminder of my sins.
Please. I need to get inside the main building. I'm looking for Antanas. Antanas is in the citadel. The gates have been sealed as soon as the robots swarm in. It's now impossible to get inside. Maybe you'll find anyone alive inside. There's a fire that's crashed into power. I think the fire of the judges is the only possible way to the citadel. If it's been already destroyed, maybe you'll find messages there. You need someone to patch you up. You are all in this place. I'm the leader. Yeah, yes. I see iron in this situation. You must have supplies. I do. They're in the laundry. The place is full of robot beasts. It's no use. I won't make that insufficient. Yeah, take this one.
Lords of the Fallen, the Arcane Boost DLC.
Thank you.
Not recommended.
If we both survive to see the Keystone Citadel,
Monopolizing cheat codes.
our paths cross again.
I'm sick of this description that makes the game sound like a deck builder or card game. There are no cards in this game. Fuck you. Can you imagine if Game Shark was still around? I wonder if this crap tier DLC would have been allowed to leave the factory floor if it were. I miss when all you had to do to pay for a cheat was to buy a single product, and the 3 digits of randomizing code would give you an endless amount of cheats and new experiences. Good times.
You have my thanks.
Wake up.
Understand your markings. Your face.
Wake up, Jean. COVID? Candida auris? Trump? Capitalism? Bro, you've been watching too much news with your parents. I just got a brand new code breaker for the GameCube. We should see what secrets we can find in Metroid Prime. I hear they have a no-clip cheat. My mom said she'll make us pizza pockets, and I got Pepsi Blue at my house. Lords of the Fallen? What the stupid fucking name for a video game? Come on. You gotta ask your parents if you can come over. You know they are going to tell you to walk the dog and do all sorts of crap. By the time you get it all over with, it'll be like 7 o'clock. You know they don't want us out when the street lights come on, so hurry up. Pay attention. I was writing a review. This fucking DLC. You can't even buy it more than once. What are they trying to do? Catch a minnow? Because you aren't catching a whale with that. It's so useless. You won't even use the runes. They don't help unless it's the only thing you got. And exploring will give you large runes, which is what you'll be using anyways near the end of the game. That is, if you actually end up using an armor or weapon that has rune slots. Should you buy this DLC? No, dumbass. You should have told your parents the truth. They probably would have loved you either way.
I can feel the tenderness of her skin through the knife, as if it were an extension of my touch. My body nearly convulses. There's something incredibly faint, deep down, that screams to resist this uncontrollable pleasure. I can already tell. Being pushed over the edge. I can't stop myself.